Good morning. We are here live. It's Monday morning, around 7 a.m. A little bit late, but we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to perform our morning cars today. So today is Monday. Let me get my whiteboard and let me show you what we will be doing today. So thank you for waking up this morning. If you are watching a little bit later, thank you for following along. Make sure that you tune in to the last 2 weeks of camp. So we are at Monday. Guess what day it is? Or guess what week it is? So it's week 3. Wow. Week 3. And it's day 13. Okay. Week 3, day 13. Today we're working on our mobility. Okay, we call this mobility, but we're performing a system called functional range systems, or functional range conditioning in this case. And it's 7 a.m. and it might not be 7 a.m. where you are right now. Maybe you're doing this at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., but we woke up at 7 a.m. because we want to make sure that you do this every Monday morning and then you follow it throughout the week, every day when you wake up. So we're going to perform the morning cars routine, okay? While we're doing this routine, we're going to also assess each range of motion that we actively have, that we can control, and that we have strength over, so that we actually have the ability to move a joint without using the neighboring joints. Why is that important? It's important because it allows us to assess how capable or incapable our joints are. And the more we realize that we need to work on certain things, the more we'll realize that we'll move better if we work on those. So that's what we're working on. We're working on the tools, the body parts. So you have your morning cars routine, or we just call it morning cars, C-A-R-S. Define that, write it down if you already know what it is. Cars, what does CARS stand for? Cars like we're driving, okay? No. Cars like a blue car or a red car? No. Controlled articular rotations. Okay, so controlled articular rotations, or what we call cars, are basically exactly what we're calling them, controlled articular rotations. So the articular surface of the bones, every joint has different surfaces and every joint moves a different way. You have your hinge joints, your elbow and knee, your rotational ball and socket joints, glenohumeral, and your hip. You have another rotational joint like your ankle, your wrist. So a lot of these joints do different things, and what we're going to do in our morning cars is take each joint through its full range of motion actively. So we're going to use the whole body here from head to toe. Okay, so we got a whole human being here, and we're going to look at the neck, the back, the hips, the knee, the ankle, okay, the kneecap, okay. You got 2 in this area, you got the toes here, so we got 2 in this area, toes, ankle, kneecap, then you have your knee, then you have your hip, you have your wrist, and you have your elbows, and then you have your shoulder. We also call your glenohumeral joint, we'll just put GL there, and then you have your scapula right in here, your wing bones. And then you have your spinal cord, which runs through you. We'll use the T-spine today, and we'll do the full spine today. And then you have your neck, okay? I think we talked about the wrists. So we're basically taking almost 11 of your major joints through their full ranges each morning. And why is that important is because when you sleep, your body is just sitting for 8 hours. Most of the day you're sitting or your knees are bent at a 90-degree, or you're extending your knee. So most of the day, we don't get into our full ranges of motion actively unless we actually practice unless we have a body practice. So it's really important to perform this each morning. We're gonna start with the neck, and then we're gonna work our way down. And we're also going to write notes for each joint here, okay? So make sure that you have a pen and paper, or if you don't have a pen and paper, what you can do is you can film yourself and then record yourself verbally talk about each joint after you rotate it, okay? So we're gonna start with the neck, then we'll work our way to the T-spine, then we'll have the glenohumeral or shoulder, then we'll have the elbow, the wrist, okay, we have the scapula, so that's all of our upper body, then we have our hip, knee, and we'll do the patella and knee together, but we'll call them, they will be separate, and then we'll have our ankle, and then toes, and then we'll have our segmental cat-cow. Okay, cat-cow is basically what? Spinal flexion and spinal extension. Two normal things for the spine to do. And so we're gonna rate this 1 to 3. Remember, we're gonna look at control, flexibility, strength. Those are what we're looking for. And then we're also, if we feel pain, write it down. Okay. At least have a finding as you take yourself through this. So 1 through 3, very general, or you can be specific, okay? So however you want to control that. All right, let's go ahead and get started. All right. So now typically we perform morning cars and we say it only takes about 10 minutes in the morning. The first week we did this, it took about 45 minutes. We had to go over all the full ranges. We had to talk about each joint. And then the second week was a little bit shorter. And now we're going to go through it a little bit quicker. Okay, so each time you go through it in the morning, you should feel, you know, like you're going at a pretty quick rate. When you first learn it, it's really important to do it slow. And then throughout the day, challenge yourself by going really slow. But in the morning, sometimes only 10 minutes, just go through it real quick, at least go over it in the morning, and then go on to your normal routine. All right, here we go. So whether you're seated, kneeling, or standing, I'll give you 3 different options. So if you're standing, stand up nice and tall, just like this. If you're kneeling, same thing. And if you're seated, all same thing. Sit up nice and tall. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and irradiate the whole body. The whole body is nice and tight. So your core, your chest, your back, your arms, your legs, everything's engaged. We're going to go ahead and flex the neck down, look down, control it. Try not to bring the shoulders with you, just the neck. You're going to look over the shoulder, look over your shoulder, look toward the wall, and then look up and over the shoulder as you look up toward the sky, looking for any type of pain or any issues here. Look over the other shoulder. Look all the way down, creating a big circle with the chin. Keep rotating all the way down and look over the other shoulder. Keep going as you rotate. Look all the way up and back, all the way around. Look over to the other shoulder. And chin will flex all the way down. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and rotate the other way. Flex and rotate the other way this time. Bend into the side, look up and over the shoulder, up toward the sky, look over to the other wall. Bring the chin down. One more rotation, drawing a big circle with the neck, nice and slow here, looking for any kind of pain or really just trying to move through it. So we don't really want to be chasing pain. We don't want to be looking for pain. We really just want to notice, okay, was there any pain? Yes or no? No pain, and don't worry about it. If it felt pretty good and you felt like you had a lot of control and no stiffness or anything, give yourself a 2 or a 3. but you're going to need a real assessment from an FRA to really get the good results. But it's important also to give yourself a self-assessment. So if you're seated for this next one, sit up nice and tall. If you're standing, stand up nice and tall, legs under the shoulders. And if you're kneeling, same thing. Okay. Now, nothing changes in the lower body. Only thing that changes is the upper body. The upper back is going to flex down. Then you're going to rotate, and then you're going to bend, and then you're going to extend the back. Try not to move anything else. Rotate to the other side, bend into that side, and flex down. Okay, let's restart. Okay, so make sure that when you do this, that you don't bring your hips back. That's a common error. People will go like this. Even when they're standing, people will go like this. So make sure that just the upper back flexes down. Let's go ahead and try that one more time. Ready? Flex down just the upper back, rotate, bend into the side, extend back, rotate toward the other side, flex into that side, and rotate all the way around, bend, extend back, rotate toward the other side, bend into that side, and flex down. Let's go ahead and rotate 2 circles the other way. Rotate, bend, extend, rotate, bend, flex forward. One more, rotate, bend into the side, extend back, rotate, bend, and flex forward. So writing down 1 to 3 there, okay, for yourself, for your shoulder, whether you're seated and you're able to get your arms, if you're seated in a chair, you need to get your arms over the chair like this, or you can hold them up like this and create circles with your elbows if you're not able to move around a certain area. But for the glenohumeral, we're going to basically be creating a full circle just like this, but we're going to be very controlled. So we're going to stand up, or in the seated position, squeeze the fist, both fists, spread the floor apart with the feet, or same thing, push into the ground with the feet, squeeze the other fist if you're kneeling. From here, we're going to flex the shoulder all the way overhead and hold here. Squeeze the opposite fist, and then from here, we're going to rotate the whole arm together. So not just the wrists will turn out like this, but the bicep as well. So everything turns as you reach back. Keep turning. The back of the hand is next to the side. Then from here, extend, unwind, reach back, all the way up, across the body, and down. One more time, flexion. Rotate as you reach back of the hand next to the side of the body. And then reach all the way back, try not to move anything else. Unwind that shoulder, reach all the way back, all the way across the body and down. Go ahead and switch sides. Squeeze the fist, sit up nice and tall, flexion, hold here. Whole arm rotates as you reach back like you're reaching back into the back seat of a car, back of the hand next to the side of the body. From here, extend, unwind the shoulder, try not to move anything else, all the way up, forward, across the body, and down. One more time, don't move anything else but the shoulder. Rotate as you reach back of the hand next to the side of the body, and then reach back, hold here, unwind, reach all the way back and up, forward, across the body, and down. So go ahead and rate yourself there. Elbow. So straighten the elbows, palms are facing forward, whether you're seated or standing or kneeling. And then from here, what we're going to do is flex. Pretend you have weight in your hands and you're squeezing your biceps. And then from here, turn your palms as you squeeze all the way down. Keep squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Push as you squeeze, nice and slow. Turn, palms face up. Squeeze, hold here. And then just extend. Try to go as slow as you can. Resist it with your own muscles. Palms down, flex. Squeeze those muscles. Turn, palms face up, squeeze, extend, turn, and flex, and relax. From here, bring your hands in front of your elbows at a 90-degree angle. try not to move your elbows. This would be elbow rotation. Only use your wrist. So the only thing that moves is your wrist. So from here, what we're gonna do is go ahead and bring your hands in front of your elbows. Elbows at a 90-degree angle. From here, point the fingertips down. We're pretending we have paint on the tips of our finger. And as we draw a circle, we have a piece of paper in front of us and we're drawing a big circle on that piece of paper. So let's point the fingers down, all the way in, all the way up, hold here, out, all the way out, all the way down, down, all the way in, all the way up, all the way out, all the way down. Let's go the other way, out, all the way up, all the way in, all the way down. Nice and slow, control it. If you're going faster than me, you're going too fast. All the way down and out, all the way up, hold it up, fingertips up, all the way in, all the way down. One more, all the way down, all the way out, all the way up. Don't move the elbows, all the way in, all the way down. Good, you can just kind of shake that out a little bit. Go ahead and give yourself a rating for the elbow and wrist. Okay, now the scapula. Now you can do a lot of different ways. If you are unable to go like this with your hands, you can go out like this. So let's go ahead and try this version for today. So pretend like you're a mummy. No, not a mummy, a zombie, right? Squeeze the fist, hold here. Whether you're seated, standing, or kneeling, it's gonna look the same. And then you're going to draw those shoulders back, but what we're moving here is the scapula, those wing bones, okay? What they can do is they shrug your shoulders. So when you see someone shrug your shoulders back, down, forward, up, back, that's your scapula. We're gonna do the same thing, but in this position. So squeeze those fists, keep those elbows locked, and all you're doing is just creating a tiny circle with the scapula. Okay, just pretend you're rotating it around a lacrosse ball. So that small. We're not going all the way up and around because we don't have that much space. So let's just go ahead and focus on that scapula. Go ahead and rotate the other way, up, forward, down. Keep those elbows locked, back, up, forward, and down. Back, up, forward, and down. Good. Okay. Go ahead and write that down. How do we feel there? 2 to 3 for me. For the hip, if you're seated for this one, the best suggestion, so I'm gonna start with probably my right leg, and you can start with your right leg or you can start with your left leg. But either leg, if you're seated, what you can do is you can actively externally rotate and you can actively internally rotate. If you don't have the ability to actively do that yourself, somebody can help you externally rotate the hip and somebody can help you internally rotate the hip. So as I'm on the ground, that's what I would like you to do if that is your circumstance and you're able to help somebody internally and externally rotate their hip, or if you're seated and that's what you want to do for this one, that's all I'm going to have you do, okay? Now, if you're able to get onto the ground, what we're going to do is lay on our side and bring our hands together and almost get into the fetal position. From here, bend those knees at a 90-degree and point that toe up toward the sky. And then we're going to internally rotate the hip, or what we're going to do is swing that foot back, controlled, and then draw a big circle with the knee, wrap that hip all the way around, and then the knee will touch the knee, and then we'll extend, open up, all the way forward and down. Let's go one more circle all the way toward the elbow. Keep that knee locked and bent. Rotate it, wrap around, keep that knee bent. If you want to progress it, bring a tennis ball behind your knee next time. Extend, open up the knee, keep that knee bent all the way forward and down, okay? Not sure what's going on with this timer. All right, let's get the other side. So if you were seated, you're just gonna work on the other side. If you're on the ground, let's go to the sideline position. Okay, you can also do this if you can get on the ground here as well. If you're in the seated position now, we're going to bend the knee and flex the hip. If you have a yoga block, you can always use the yoga block here, or you can just go like this. Okay, so from here, bend that knee. We're going to draw a big circle with that knee all the way back, and knee will touch the knee, and then we'll go back, up, forward, and down. And now up, out, rotate it, keep the knee bent all the way around, and back, all out and around, all the way up, forward, and down. So that's the hip. So you can also get the hip while you're standing, and I'll give you some different ideas. So if you're able to stand and you have dowels, or if you have like a broom, 2 broomsticks that you can unravel, what you can do is you can do some stuff while you're standing. Okay, if you have really good balance, you don't need the dowel, so you could do it and try to work on your balance. Or what you can do, most people will end up using a wall. So all you're going to do is try to find a wall for this next one. Or if you have something that can support you, like 1 or 2 dowels, I'll have you use one of those. So go ahead and set up next to a wall or hold on to a dowel and stand up. If you're seated for this one, same thing. I just want you to open up the hip, close the hip, and then also you can focus on opening up all the way and internally rotating the hip if you're seated. If you're able to stand, go ahead and push into a wall or hold on to a dowel. That same sided leg is going to move up into the air. You're going to keep that knee bent, open up the knee, and then from here, squeeze this opposite fist. You're going to rotate the hip back and around, and knee will touch the knee. Keep the knee bent, extend it back, open it up, all the way forward, across the body, and down. One more, all the way up, out, drop the knee as the foot goes up, swing it around, try not to cave in, back, out and around, forward, and down. Okay, so whether you have a wall you're pushing into or a dowel, let's get the other side. Here we go, squeeze the opposite fist. Try not to bend this other knee and try not to bend into that side. From here, flex the hip if you can, open up the hip. Stand up nice and tall, open it all the way out here, flex that toe up, drop the knee. As the foot goes up, create a big circle, knee touches knee, back and around, all the way up, forward across the body, and hold here. All the way up, out, turn it, create a big circle with that knee, keep the knee bent, now extend all the way out and around, forward, and down. So that's another way you can work on hip cars. So that would be a standing hip car. That's the first time we've gone over that in this camp. So go ahead and score yourself. I'm in the 1 to 2 area there. My hips definitely need a lot of work. From here, knee and patella. If you're seated in a chair, what you can do is flex, extend, turn, flex, turn, extend. So you're going to be doing the same thing just like this. Or if you're unable to do that yourself, if somebody can do that for you, turn your foot and hold tibia as you extend, turn it, and bend it. So depending on your ability level, go ahead and wrap your arm underneath or begin the same thing we're doing here if you're seated. Turn the foot out and rotate that tibia out at the same time. So the foot and ankle is locked with the lower leg. So it's not just a loose lower foot here. So this is kind of locked just like our axial rotations in our glenohumeral, kind of like we're actually rotating it out. Bend that knee, trying to almost squeeze my wrist here with the Achilles or soleus. And then from here, turning that foot out extend the knee, turn the foot in, turn the whole leg in, and bend. Turn leg out, up, in, down, and then all the way up, out, down, in, up, out, down. Now, this one, what we're gonna, let's get the other side. Let's just get the other side first. Go ahead and switch. If you're seated, same thing. If somebody can help you out, turn the foot out, turn the whole lower leg out. Try not to bring the hip with it. So just the lower limb. Extend, turn the lower leg in, and bend. Out, up, in, down. Out, up, in, down. Now in and up, out and down. In and up, out and down. In, up, out, and down. Now if you're seated for the patella and you're able to relax your leg, it's going to look just like this. If you're seated, or even if you're standing, just make sure that leg is relaxed. Now if you're seated, you can bring your back up against the wall, give you more support, make sure this leg is relaxed. And then from here, what we're going to do is just go ahead and push that patella side to side. Should move side to side. If not, we want to write that down in our findings. And then also push up and down. How does it feel going up and down? Now go ahead and push it like it's a clock, all the way around the clock 360 degrees. And push it in the other direction 360 degrees. Not pushing to produce pain, we're pushing to produce movement here. So we're focusing on the movement of the patella. Now, if you do feel pain while you're doing this or sensitivity, write it down. If it doesn't move, write it down. All right, let's go ahead and switch to the other side. I like my fingertips underneath the knee here, and I like using the thumbs. I feel like I have the most control. I see some people will go like this, and I feel like it's not, you can't control it as well. So I like to use the thumbs here. If you can't move the patella, or if it doesn't seem like it's moving or wants to move, or might be something that you're not familiar with, you might just want to maybe tap it up and down, forward, side to side. Go ahead and make sure that you get at least 2 circles each way. All right. Go ahead and score yourself there. Any issues? Remember we talked about that closing angle joint pain. To review, what that means is, for example, if I were to flex my wrist, and this would be the closing angle side of the joint, this would be the open side of the wrist joint. So if I were to have pain here, this would be closing angle joint pain. That would be something to really maybe star. If you have a closing angle joint pain, give yourself a star. And that's probably not a good star, but it's a star that's going to indicate that we need to focus more, let's just say on that elbow, for instance. All right. So make sure that if you do feel that closing angle joint pain, that you put a star, and then maybe put a circle if you feel tightness on the opposite side, or an open angle, maybe tightness. So an open angle. So if I were to go like this, my wrist, and I felt it on the opposite side, that bigger side, that open side, I might put a 0 for open. Okay. All right. Now let's go ahead and move to the ankle, toes, and segmental cat-cow, and then we'll be all set for today. So ankle, whether you're seated, if you're able to draw a circle while you're seated just like this, or if somebody is able to draw a circle for you, and if they can give you, let's just say if you're helping somebody do this, just ask them to maybe fight that circle off a little bit. So have them maybe push into it. So don't let it just be passive. Okay, if you're able to sit, hold on to the shin, point the toe down. And then we're going to go ahead and pretend we have paint on the tips of the toes. We're drawing a big circle all the way up, in, all the way down and out, all the way up, all the way in, all the way around and down, and let's go the other way, down and in, all the way up, out, all the way down, all the way in, up, around, all the way out, all the way down. Go ahead and get the other ankle, point the toe down like gas pedaling the pedal down. Really should feel that in the calf there. If you're going 30% or more, from here in and up, all the way up, all the way out, all the way down and in and up, all the way up, all the way out, all the way down. Let's go 2 circles the other way, out, all the way up, all the way in, all the way around. Just focus on that. Pretend it's a clock. You're going all the way around the dial clock here, all the way up. Okay, so the ankles are done. Go ahead and write down 1 to 3 there. And toes, if you're seated, you can do the toes just like this, or if somebody can help move your toes for you in the positions that we call out here. So whether you're seated or standing, and I'll just do it seated, you can do it standing, it's up to you. I'm gonna go ahead and bring all 10 toes off the ground to start. And then I'm gonna try to separate all 10 toes. So I'm trying to separate all 10 toes. Do the best that you can. You'll notice that some toes don't wanna separate. You'll see here that the big toe might wanna move toward the lateral toes, which is something that we wanna prevent. And if it is, you'll be likely to get bunions later. So we wanna prevent that by moving our big toe more. And you might notice that your pinky toe doesn't want to leave the neighboring toe. So those are things that we wanna be aware of. If your front midfoot or outer foot goes off the ground, then we would call that cheating. So try to keep that on the ground and keep the heel down. So all 10 toes off the ground, hold here. Now all toes gripping the ground, like you're flexing those toes into the ground. I want you to shorten the midfoot. Hold here. Now all toes off the ground. Separate those toes. And then from here, what we're gonna do is just the big toe up. Just the big toe is up. Try to keep the upper mid foot on the ground here. And now big toe down, small toes off the ground. So just the big toe down, gripping the ground, small toes off the ground. And then from here, small toes down, big toes up, hold here. And now big toe down, small toes up, hold here. Really squeeze that midfoot. Now squeeze all toes into the ground, all toes off the ground. And now we're gonna piano it down from pinky all the way to big toe, all toes up, pinky all the way to big toe, all toes up, pinky all the way to big toe. And then your last challenge is all toes up, just the big toe taps the ground. Try 5 times, 4 and 5. All right, go ahead and write that down. How'd that feel? Did the toes move? Did your big toe not move? If it didn't move, write it down in your notes section. Okay, and now segmental cat-cow before we end. So segmental cat-cow, gonna round the back, tuck the chin. And from here, we're in spinal flexion. The knees are under the hips, the hands are underneath the shoulders. If you are seated, it will look just like this. You're just going to flex and around the back, just like that. Same actions as if you were in the hands and knees. So hold here. And then if you are able to push into the ground, push forward, round the back even more, tuck the chin and try to bring those hips under. Hold, breathe, inhale and exhale, push away from the ground. Almost like you're trying to push the mat apart as you're spreading out here, really around the back. And then from here, what we're gonna do is one vertebrae at a time. I'm gonna start with my lumbar spine. So it starts with your tailbone or your coccyx, your sacrum, your lower lumbar, then it goes your thoracic, and then your cervical. So we're gonna try to see if we can segment each one at the same time. So we're gonna start with our back rounded. We're going to undo that hip hinge, or we're going to begin a hip hinge and bring that lower back down with the hips, and then The thoracic spine will follow, and then the head and neck or cervical spine will be last. So make sure that your head was down the whole time. Now we're in thoracic extension, lower back extension here, lumbar and cervical extension, hold. Now we're going to try to go from head and neck all the way down. So go ahead and flex the neck down first. Bring the upper back toward the sky, then mid back, and then low back to your hips, back to your pelvic tuck here. And now let's go ahead and hinge the hips as we bring the lower back down. Let the mid back follow, head and neck will go all the way up. And let's go down, let's go the other way. Tailbone, low back, mid back. Last thing that goes down is the head and neck. Good job. All right, so that's gonna be it for today. Go ahead and write some notes down, how you felt in all of those categories. So for me, pretty average, 2 to 3, and most, some were 1 to 2, like my hip and my knee area needs a little bit more attention. And if I had any closing angle joint pain, I put a star, and any open angle tightness, I would put a 0 or a O. And then that way you can kind of identify what you might need to train later in the day or work on later in the day, as well as continue to strength train and continue to work on your endurance training, because those are also essential ingredients to physical activity and lifestyle. And thinking about wellness, making sure that you're getting sleep, hydration, make sure you get a lot of water after this practice, drink water throughout the day, and also just be aware of the foods that you eat, making sure that you get a lot of fruits and vegetables. And if you have any questions about today, or if you want the assessment sheet for this or any other information for the camp, please let me know. If you're in our Zoom chat and you want to hang out and chat after, that would be cool. If you got to head out, that's fine. And if you are live with us, thanks for joining us, and make sure to tune in to days 1 through 12, our first 2 weeks. We have 2 more weeks left of camp, and you have just experienced Mobility Monday. On Tuesday, we have Tabata. On Wednesday, we have Workout Wednesday. Tabata is more of a circuit training, but we're kind of progressing toward a Tabata. So our first couple of weeks have been adapted. Our Workout Wednesday, we use weights in the form of medicine balls or backpacks with weights in them or soup cans. And then we also have Health Talk Thursday, where we go over food, we go over wellness, and then we have Fitness Friday, which is kind of like Workout Wednesday, and then we have Sports Saturday. So if you want to join in any of those days, let me know, and I'll send you out the registration form. Other than that, thank you for hanging out with us, and we'll see you later.